Anyway, it's New Star Wars Week. The Acolyte has arrived. We'll be sharing our thoughts on the first 2 episodes, which, for anyone who has missed it so far, they are called Lost/Found for episode 1 and Revenge/Justice for episode 2. We shall see whether that naming convention continues for the rest of the series. If you have any thoughts of your own and would like to share them with us, feel free to not. No, that's
Keep
not
them
true.
to yourself.
We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you as ever. Feel free to comment on this video if you're watching it on a video, if you're listening on some sort of podcast device thing. Email us aloneinthesouthpassage@gmail.com, or you can get in touch with us on our socials, which is at AITSP_podcast. Or if you are listening to us on a podcast provider, if you look at the description of the episode, at the top of that, it will say something along the lines of, send us a text message. You can use that on your mobile phone device thingy if it supports text messaging.
Not on your laptop like I tried, because that doesn't work.
No.
Nope.
Phones, possibly tablets, but definitely not PC.
No.
But anyway,
not.
that's all the lovely admin out of the way. Other than to say, if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes yet, we are going to be talking about them at length, and inevitably that will probably, almost certainly, definitely, could say with 100% certainty it will be happening. We will have spoilers in it. So stop listening now if you're bothered by that. Good. Right, now we've got rid of that lot. The rest of you are still here. Steph.
Yes.
New Star Wars. Which I say with an air of hesitation, because this is an era of Star Wars we've never seen.
Yeah.
Not in live action, not on the screen. And therefore, quite frankly, I have no doubt that there will be people out there who are saying, this isn't Star Wars. They've got no right to say that.
They've got no right at all.
Free reign.
It's a very well documented era, as you know, from books and comics.
From books, which I will mention later, the High Republic books, or the 60-odd% of the One High Republic book that I've read.
Yes.
I can reference that. So
60-odd%, that's pretty good.
60%. Well done, you. Well done, you. You're a 41-year-old man who's managed to read 60% of a book.
It's not bad. It's further than I thought you'd be.
Well, I was about 50% when we spoke about it 4 weeks ago. So,
yeah, exactly.
Indeed. Anyway, I'm digressing enormously. Right, let's get into first impressions. Let's. I don't know where you want to start talking about this, but let's maybe have a look at the prologue and see what we think about that particular area.
Yeah. You mean like the opening?
The opening and the text.
Yeah.
100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge.
Yes. I think it was an interesting choice to set the scene that way.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting scrolly Star Wars text, because that isn't flavour of the day anymore for these later things, is it? That's reserved for like the saga films.
Indeed.
But it was good just to have a bit of scene setting.
It was.
I mean, we don't need a lot of background to this universe, because it's obviously a world we're very used to and we know very well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to waste any more time than that doing any world building or scene setting. It just a few lines of text. This is when it is. It's before Phantom Menace. Off we go, kind of thing.
Yep.
But I always think it's funny how little seems to change in the Star Wars universe. Like from this, which is 100 years before Phantom Menace, to all the way to the furthest thing we've seen, which is, I guess, Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
That could all take place the same year, really, couldn't it? I mean, it's all they still got droids, they still got starships, they still got lightsabers. People dress pretty much the same. Technology seems roughly the same.
Interesting you say about the dressing though, because the Jedi have got
they're
some
a
clobber.
little different.
They dress a little differently, and they also, I think when we look at stuff like this, I think it's one of the things that does differentiate it, sort of time frame wise, from most other Star Wars stuff, is the lack of Imperial elements and the lack of anything kind of Clone Wars onwards. Because you got, I mean, we've obviously not seen any of that kind of stuff yet because we're not going to see it, but we won't see Star Destroyers, we won't see TIE fighters, we won't see anything along those lines, which I think does give us a different flavour.
Yeah, no, I see where you're getting from. We do see Trade Federation guys though, which
we do see the Trade Federation.
Interesting.
And they've decided to let the actors just use their own voices rather than messing around trying to use. You'd be a Trade Federation French person. You'd be a Trade Federation Rastafarian.
Exactly. Yeah, glad they swerved away from that because
still weak as anything when it comes to Jedi mind tricks, obviously.
Oh god, yeah, they just fold like soggy napkins, don't they?
Indeed.
If you could fold them, indeed. But actually, I did like
collapse
the way
like a soggy napkin. I think.
That as well. I did like the way the captain of that Trade Federation ship was dressed. He had a sort of like a Napoleon thing going on, didn't he?
He was dapper.
He was, yeah. I thought that was pretty good. And actually, as we're on it, the costumes were done well. From what we've seen, I thought. I didn't see any kind of cheapo or anything that kind of looked out of place.
No.
But it's just all so familiar. I think I was hoping it would feel a bit more alien and different. And it's nice to feel that comfort of being back in the world we know so well in that galaxy that's so familiar.
It is.
I wouldn't have minded a bit of mixing it up,
No, not at all. But I think as well, one of the things that I thought was obviously, as I say, we're told at the beginning that the Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. So we say the Galactic Republic has prospered.
Yeah.
And yet there's still clearly parts of the galaxy where things are very rough. There's backwaters where things are not. The Galactic Republic has not touched these areas.
Yeah.
But the Jedi have a base.
Yes. And actually, that was an interesting thing. How there's regional temples. It seems that's not something I don't think we still have by Phantom Menace, is it? You got the main temple in Coruscant, but I don't think they've ever referenced planets having mini temples.
Makes sense though, doesn't it?
So,
it's
cool,
religion, isn't it?
Like,
you got the Vatican, and then you got churches around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but also I guess maybe they function as like police stations as well.
Possibly barracks.
So. Barracks. Load of barracks for you.
What a load of old barracks. I see. I've got to be honest. After 10 minutes of the first episode, I was a little bit concerned.
Oh, yeah? What was your concern?
I felt, and I know you said you liked kind of the introduction, the explanatory stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Initially, when I watched that, I felt like certain elements of it were a bit basic.
Okay.
I mean, perhaps almost even childish in places.
Right.
Example? I mean, I don't know, that bit about. I don't know. I felt like it was almost too much information given away in the sort of a lone assassin risks discovery to seek revenge.
Okay.
I could have. I don't know. I felt like they could have almost used sort of a portion of the first episode to tell that story a little bit.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tell, don't show. No.
Indeed,
show, don't tell.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars has a history of this. Like, I mean, the original trilogy. The original trilogy is literally like just. We could make a whole movie about this, but instead, what we're going to do is we're going to give you the entire backstory before you go into this, because then you haven't got to worry about not knowing. You haven't got to worry
about it, and we can then spend 25 minutes on a pod race and use all the time that way instead.
Quite. You could do that. You could choose to do that. You could do that. However, like I say, first 10 minutes, I was a bit concerned about that because there was that, and there was another bit where. I get the twins' names mixed up already. I will get this. By the time we get to the end of this, I will get the twins' names the right name. May and Osha. And May is the, what we think is the Acolyte at least. And Osha's the good one.
Yeah.
which is a big plot spoiler, by the way. So if you're still listening, sorry, you were warned.
We did warn you.
But when she's in the bar talking to Carrie Ann Moss's character, Master Indara, who by the way doesn't last long. I've got a lot to say about that scene.
Got a lot to say about that. Yes, yeah, indeed.
And the first word, one of the first words out of his mouth is "attack me."
Attack me. Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, that was full on.
But I give him a pass.
Okay.
Purely because at least the characters in the scene laugh at it as well and go, "That's stupid.
That's true.
That is stupid. What are you doing?"
She follows up with something like "at your full power" or something like that.
Something like that. Just give me everything you got. Give me everything you got.
Come at me, brah.
But I mean, one of the real positives I will say about this to this point, certainly not even to this point, like in literally the first 10, 15 minutes of the first episode, this thing's not hanging around.
No.
It is moving at a pace. And given our past grievances with Ahsoka, where we got to sort of episode 3 and we're like, you need to do something. Something needs to happen here, guys.
Happen. Yeah.
This hasn't got that problem.
No.
I think I'm almost the other side of it, where I'm a bit thinking, what the fuck are you going to do the next 6 episodes or whatever?
Yeah. No, and I think that's why I didn't mind that text at the start, because it was like, set the scene, get out of the way. Now let's get into some chop socky action and fuck this shit up.
Chop socky action / just copy and paste from the Matrix.
Pretty much. It was Matrix, wasn't it?
It's literally just, let's cast Carrie Ann Moss.
Even with the same actors.
And just remake the Matrix.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
Matrix with a lightsaber. I mean, that's the only way you can improve on the Matrix, to add a lightsaber.
And Jedi robes.
Yeah. That was a great scene, and this was pretty much the whole scene I'd already had in that preview from the Phantom Menace cinematic release earlier.
Yeah.
So I was already very familiar with the scene. It was only the end, obviously, that I hadn't seen before because, like you said, major character dies, which I am very, very upset about, because I assumed that Carrie Ann Moss's character was featuring big in this.
Yeah.
And they fucking kill her off in the first 10 minutes.
It's not unusual, is it?
It's not unusual, but it's annoying.
It's bloody annoying. It's like, I'm trying to think of other examples. It's like Brad Pitt being on the poster for Big Short.
I don't know that one.
Oh, right, okay. Let me think of something else. It's like Tom Hardy. No.
He never dies.
He never dies.
No.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Well, Bane does die.
Yeah. But there was also something else from that scene as well. This is a bit of a nod for the High Republic fans out there. Ooh. So the High Republic, Light of the Jedi, thankfully it's in one of the chapters that I've already read.
Nice.
The bit where the person falls off the balcony and in Master Indara catches them before they hit the floor. Yeah. That's a bit of a nod to the Light of the Jedi, because you've got in that but it's done with Padawans. So one of the parts of the Padawan training is to essentially jump off a cliff and control your descent.
Oh, wow.
And what tends to happen, it doesn't work very well. Certainly not the first time. And a Jedi Master will control your descent for you when you get near the bottom or catch you. So that's kind of, I think that's a nod to that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it does raise a few questions why they don't do that more often when they fall off things. Jedi always falling out of windows, falling off balconies. You don't often see them controlling their descent.
No, there are some mild inconsistencies in terms of the way people behave in this universe or this galaxy. One of which I will mention later.
Okay.
I will mention later. But anyway, it was nice to see. It was nice to see Carrie Ann Moss, all but briefly.
It was. I'm so gutted, and I even did one of your little tricks. So I looked it up on IMDb and saw that she literally does feature in one episode.
I think at the moment on IMDb they're only showing, they're only releasing characters as the episodes go on. So it may only show the ones they've been in. So even for other people, it might say they've only been 2 episodes.
Well, it's shown some people are in 7 or 8 episodes.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think it's probably up to date now.
Oh, okay. Right. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Appreciated.
Okay, all right. Well, that was Master Idara's input into the whole thing.
Yeah.
After that, where did we go? I will ask you now just to get it off your chest because I feel like you may have something to say on this.
Okay.
Droids.
Oh, droids.
Oh, droids.
Droids.
How do we feel about droids, especially little pocket ones?
Little fucking chirpy pocket droids.
Pip,
never
Pip, I think
shut
its name
up.
is.
Pip, yeah.
Pip or Pep? Pip.
Pip, whatever the fuck it's called. It's a annoying little blinky piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm already annoyed with it.
It's like we're walking through a corridor trying to be stealthy. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. And it's
Shut
like,
up.
do we need a close-up shots of it all the time as well? Like, consistently, just like, why is this thing getting so much airtime and Carrie-Anne Moss is dead? You know, it's not fair, is it? Where's the justice in that?
Because that prop is a lot cheaper. That's why.
You might have the real world answer, but
Should we make a character that costs nothing? Yes.
Yeah.
Done.
Let's get as much screen time out of
Yeah.
it as possible.
That is basically how that works.
I mean, just add some balance. There was a Gonk droid on the Trade Federation ship, which I was very happy about.
Gonk.
A little mini Gonk, so can't argue with that. Very happy with that. And I did one of the things I did think about going back to this being 100 years ago was, do they not have astromechs because they had real people out fixing ships?
Mm.
But then later on, I do actually mention, why do you do that if there are astromechs? And there's some explanation about, we're more flexible and better company than R2D2 units or whatever.
Yes. So obviously you're talking about the fact that OSHA is
a technic,
a technobot, technocrat.
Technocrat, yeah.
Technocrat, I don't know. She's
she fixes ships.
Yeah.
In spacesuits. But that felt different at least. But I thought it was because they didn't have astromechs, but it turns out they do. But they still decided to do this anyway.
You just don't need them.
At least they spared us the astromechs. They didn't have to hear any cheaping little bloody things.
Bloody bastards.
So, I mean, it does make it consistent with the rest of Star Wars that it had an annoying droid. So I have to sort of enjoy it for that.
Give it its props.
Yeah. It's definitely on point, on theme with the rest of them. But yeah, could have done with a little less chirpy beep from old.
Well,
Pip.
Pip. Well, Pip might be seeing. We may be seeing a fair bit more of Pip.
Probably.
I feel like in the times to come. Getting back to the subject of May and OSHA for a minute. Now, when we first see OSHA early on because she's. No, sorry, hang on, got that the wrong way around. We see May very early on
first,
because she's got a list of Jedi she wants to get through and kill off.
Yes.
But then we see, obviously, we're not privy to the fact that they're twins.
Yes.
And what we see OSHA waking up, apparently oblivious to what she's done. And I have to say, until the idea of twins was suggested, I assumed this was going to be some sort of mind control thing.
Okay. I thought it was going to be like maybe a split personality kind of thing. But I think it was obvious fairly early on that OSHA was not the killer when she was, miles away on a freighter somewhere. Just the logistics of it didn't even make sense.
I've charted this.
Yeah.
I've looked on a map and I've decided.
Worked out the times.
There is no chance she could have got from here to here in that time.
That's
and
it.
Done that.
Even at 0.5 past light speed, getting there. No. I mean, I don't know if this was meant to be a big twist or what. And actually, thinking about it, we don't really need another long burning twin reveal in Star Wars, do we? We've already
No.
We got a fairly well established one. I seem to recall from some earlier films. So
there were some twins in the history of Star Wars, yes.
Yes, apparently that there was back at some point.
Apparently there was a set of Jawa twins at one point.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
Jawa twins.
About, right?
Yeah, the Jawa twins.
Yeah.
Love that story. So I think it was good that it didn't didn't hold those cards too close to its chest for very long, and it was fairly obvious quite quickly that we were talking about two different people, two twins,
Right.
who very conveniently have exactly the same haircut. So
You took the words right out of my mouth.
you
Good
noticed
God.
that too.
Yeah, I mean, like, given that they've been separated for years,
Yeah, one
to
presumed
have
dead.
a case of mistaken identity because they've got exactly the same haircut. Apparently,
Yes.
followed exactly the same fitness regime, eating.
Yeah,
They
same body type.
They are still
Yeah.
identical in every way.
Yeah,
That's amazing, really. I mean, even to the point where I think they've even had their tips dyed the same colour.
That's.
Um,
I thought I'd misheard you for a moment then.
yeah, really. I mean, they may have had something else done as well. I don't know.
They
I
might
don't
have
know.
had something else done.
Let's not assume
Let's not.
they're
No.
strong, independent women free to do what they want to do.
Exactly.
So, yes, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I couldn't really. It was convenient. It was convenient
It was, yeah.
because
yeah.
we don't know exactly how many years they've been separated for. I'm going to assume somewhere in the region of, based upon when.
When you see them as younglings.
Yeah, let's say they were separated at the age of 8, 10.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What
long
age-
time.
what
Long
should they
time
are
to
now,
go
like
by it and go.
Mid-20s now. Something like that.
I have not changed my hair, so she won't have changed her hair either.
Yeah. Maybe it's that kind of twin telekinesis thing, and they're like, I'm going to go and get my hair cut. I want it cut exactly like this because I just got this weird feeling that's the right thing to do.
Some celebrity running around the galaxy, and they're like, "Oh, I really like that haircut." It's like, "Oh, I like that haircut." Straight, and the hairdresser's like, "Strange, we had someone in last week who looked just like you, who had their haircut the same way."
What are you doing back in here? What's happened to your hair? We only cut it the other day.
God, it grows fast, doesn't
That's
it?
it. Cool. Actually, I know we didn't do like a for the sake of getting directly into it. We didn't go too much into what we've been up to, but I actually watched the movie Twins this week. I know we were talking about that after we were chatting about it, and so won't go into too much. But good family film. Watched it with my boy. Really enjoyed it. So Twins.
Did you cry?
I was a bit emosh. It's you got to have a heart of stone not to be moved by bits of
Indeed.
that film. So
Indeed.
so there are good stories about twins, I have to say.
There are.
That's
Is this
that's
not
what
one?
I'm
Is this not one of them?
This is yet to be seen.
Long
I
way to
think.
go.
Yeah, early days on this
Long
one.
way to go. We're only 25% of the way through it. We can't
Oh,
judge.
yeah.
We can't
Oh.
judge it yet. I mean, it's not stopped some people in the world.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of judgment out there. A
Indeed.
lot of judgment.
Although fair, it's on IMDb. It's not doing amazingly, but it's not doing terribly.
No?
6.7.
Okay.
It's not awful.
That's above average.
Above average, which is what everyone hopes for, surely.
Well,
Above
yeah.
average.
We all strive for that, don't we?
Right. Should we take a very short interval, come back after that, and maybe talk a little bit about Jedi
Okay, let's do that.
and whatever else you want to talk about, quite frankly.